Hey guys, it's Chris back in my shop. I think most of the people that have watched the videos that I've put on YouTube are spillovers from my wife's fish channel. So I thought I'd do something a little fishy today. I made a seahorse for someone not too long ago, and I had a really good time doing it. Just me screwing around in my shop with junk. So take a look. I'm going to build another one because I liked it so much. Got some roller chain. This is old motorcycle chain. Got some smaller roller chain. Got an old wing nut. An assortment of gears. And got more over there if I need to pick and pilfer and play around. So start out by doubling up the chain here. And get a basic seahorse shape. Gonna use some of this to make the body of the seahorse. I'll cut it and give it the ribbing. Looking at pictures of seahorses, they're kind of angular and obviously not flat, so that's what I'll use that for. Thought I'd use this for the base. Weld it onto there when I'm done. Got a old clutch disc from a come along, broken tool used for rigging. Got a sprocket from this chain, another sprocket, not sure where this came from. These are actually pieces to a dressing wheel, or a dressing tool that you use to clean up grinding discs for a bench grinder. And more come along parts, just junk. So I'm gonna arrange it here and physically think out what I'm gonna do. So there's a lot of cleanup that goes along with trying to weld old, rusty, oil-soaked junk. Otherwise, it's a real pain to weld together. So I already hit this with a torch and a rosebud, cleaned this length up a little bit, but you saw the other piece when I start working with. It's not very forgiving. So just lay out a basic seahorse shape. And if you're a seahorse fan, I apologize because I'm not a seahorse person. I just maybe a Disney movie is my closest encounter with a seahorse.
They do have sort of an iconic shape though.
Okay. Pretty easy to figure out. So I'm going to use part of this as his beak, nose, proboscis, whatever you want to call it. Pretty easy. And this is just a basic shape. I try and lay out. I'm going to use this for it to rest on once it's done as like a pedestal. So I have that. This little roller chain, I will make up a few pieces to go and make its ribs, or I'm sure someone will correct me, whatever they're called. This little chest cavity there. Give it some 3-dimension instead of a flat piece. I was thinking of using this guy as one of his little fins in the back, or maybe his mohawk, or hers. And probably this, I'll cut it and shape it out to be its back fin. So I'm gonna get started. Things about working with chain, roller chain especially, whenever you weld something, the heat tends to pull it in the direction that you weld on. So if I was to weld all this one side together, you notice the chain actually has some side to side, or in this case up to down movement, in addition to what it's designed to do. So you gotta kind of have to jump around in between each link, weld here, weld here, weld here, weld here, back and forth, and jump around to prevent it from getting scoliosis. So it's just one of the things. So I just hit it with a wire wheel, again, to try and clean it up a little more, to make the welds a little easier. It's nothing structural here, so it doesn't matter how strong it is, so to speak. I'll be TIG welding just because it's quiet and I like it, and I need practice with it. So cut that wing nut in half. Just to, well, I cut one of the ears off of it. That. What's that? So that's my, that's the best I can do with a Seahorse. I'll start there, and I think I'll start by welding the chain together in this shape, just so I have something to build off of. You can see as I'm tacking it together, all the sparks and the smoke that's coming off. That's not typical of TIG. Even after hitting it with a torch, hitting it with a wire wheel, and degreasing it, there's still so many nooks and crannies that there's foreign material in there. So it totally destroys your tungsten. It kicks all kinds of metal up onto it, and it sticks to it, and then you don't get an arc anymore. You get like a ball of heat instead of like a little pinpoint. Alright, so I got a basic Seahorse shape here. Got this wing nut that I cut a piece off of. That'll make the head, face, whatever you want to call it. I got most of this tacked out here. Still got to flip it over and do this side. But you see how it is. Keep going.
Can you hold it up so we can see?
So here's my basic idea here. Kind of like this, with ribs and fins and the mohawk thing and the little back guy. Got to put some eyeballs on it. You'll see. This is what I got so far. Pretty crude, but needs a little mohawk thing, whatever they are. So I'll just make a little mark. Yeah, something like that. Clean it up a little, stick that on there. And the thing that's hard about working, I mean, hard for me, whatever, about working with scrap is this sprocket was fairly clean. It's some sort of oil impregnated, or it's become impregnated over time. And as I heated up and ground on it, the oil started leaching out of it. So that presents issues when you're trying to weld on it also. Like I said, it was pretty smooth and cleaned up a little bit before I even started. So just another thing. Also, I'm typically welding together tool steel to cast iron to brass to stainless. It's all materials that really shouldn't be welded together. So it's just another obstacle.
So this is not a structurally...
Yeah, don't stand on it. Ooh, I like that guy. Might drill some holes in this. good. Not the piece we're gonna use for his head. It's on. This needs to be. I like that. Down there. You can see, like I said, I just put a tack weld on the other side, and it again just started seeping this oil. It's got to be some sort of self-lubricating, oil impregnated metal for whatever application it was used for. It's kind of crazy. Pain in the butt to weld though. There won't be any left when I'm done.
Do this in a well-ventilated area.
It's good for you. So the tungsten, which is the electrode that shoots the arc off when you're welding, usually start out about like this, you know, nice and sharp. When welding junk like this together and all the spatter and kickback, plus having one eye and no depth perception, the tungsten can get contaminated, and it ends up looking like this, which makes the arc that's coming off the end shoot off erratically. It'll jump around, it'll come off in a ball rather than a nice focus point. So whenever I'm doing stuff like this, I chew through the tungsten. You can resharpen them and reuse them, but it's one of my most hated tasks, sharpening tungstens. I think I'd become a better welder if I hated it so much, or choose different things to weld.
How many have you gone through with this project already?
1, 2, 3. This is my third one, so 4 points. All right. That's where I'm at so far. Got his top fin, back fin, base, and while my lovely camera woman ran to the store, I got one of the rib side pieces done, and it's kind of it takes a while for me to count out the links, figure out where I want everything, place everything, tack weld it, break it off, redo it because I'm not happy, whatever. So basically I did one side and I'll count all the links, and then I cut the same amount of links to do the other side. So I have my links all cut, and since everything's basically symmetrical, I'll use, you know, this side as a reference of where to, you know, basically put the other links on this side. That way it somewhat matches. All right, so here he is, or she, or they, if you so prefer. Got some cleanup to do, obviously. A little bit of paint, but Seahorse. About 2.5 hours of my time, 5 minutes in a video. Might do something in the next video, sort of aqua related. You never know.